Good Thursday afternoon, guys. Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. It's great to connect with you guys through the platform. A lot we're going to cover on the show today. I will highlight a couple of topics of interest that we will assess, analyze, and discuss today, January 6th. Thursday, January 6th, in fact. First, folks, we will talk the governor of Virginia declaring a state of emergency. Ralph, you were 48 hours too late. More on that in moments. Lloyd Snook, friend of the show, his firm, his law firm, just down the hallway from this studio. The new mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia, I think it was a fantastic choice, Lloyd Snook. I will let you know why in a matter of minutes. Juan Diego Wade, the vice mayor. 5-0 vote count for Juan Diego Wade, the vice mayor of Charlottesville. More on that in minutes. Roanoke, we have some news from the beer world for Star City. Roanoke, guys, Deschutes Brewing Company, its tasting room, absolutely no more. Remember, Charlottesville was battling Deschutes, was battling Roanoke to be the home of Deschutes. Now, with the craft beer boom upon us in competition, strong and significant in the space, Roanoke was like, nah, dog, we don't need a tasting room. And Deschutes is like, nah, dog, we don't need a tasting room in Roanoke. And we're not going to open a East Coast epicenter, $95 million one that employs 108 people either. We'll talk about that on the show. Restaurants are temporarily closing left and right due to Omicron and staffing issues. What is more damning or damaging or concerning for a restaurant? Omicron or staffing shortages? We'll talk about that today on the program. 11 UVA basketball players are currently playing in the National Basketball Association. Tony Bennett has a number of proteges playing in the association. We will rattle off the list for you, and Judah Wickower and I are going to get psychological and deep with you on Thursday and discussing what the Metaverse could do for Charlottesville, Virginia, from a real estate standpoint, the Metaverse from a business standpoint, the Metaverse from an educational standpoint, the Metaverse from a quality of life and dining, food and beverage standpoint. So much to cover. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, one of the proud partners of the I Love CVille Show. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, located next to Rapture on the Charlottesville Downtown Mall. David and his wife have a fabulous business. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, the best in CVille. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. Who's got your back? Dr. Wagner's got your back. I've seen people come in unable to walk with poor quality of life, and after some treatments, after some analysis and time with Dr. Wagner, they leave feeling considerably better with a zest in their step. All right, let me get a bit of news out first. Kelly Jackson, the family behind Panera Bread in the area, they are offering free coffee, free Wi-Fi, and warm temperatures for anyone that needs them at their 5th Street Panera Bread location. I'll repeat that again. Free coffee, Wi-Fi, and warmth at the 5th Street Panera Bread. So if you're looking for a warming center in Albemarle County, right in the urban ring, the Panera Bread and 5th Street Station is a good choice for you. Well done, Postel and Jackson family, on that offering. Lloyd Snook, the new mayor of Charlottesville. I will get to that in T-minus 3 minutes, but the topic du jour is the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, declaring a state of emergency last night for the Commonwealth, in particular Central Virginia, Louisa County, and the jurisdictions we covered and discussed closely yesterday. Folks, finally, thank the Lord, praise the Lord. It's about darn time that Ralph did this. He was undoubtedly 48 hours too late. We had hundreds of vehicles stranded on I-95 for over 27 hours earlier this week. He did not employ the National Guard as people were stuck on the 50-mile stretch of I-95 just south of D.C. for a grueling 27 hours in temperatures in the low teens. Finally, Ralph chooses to stop passing the baton, to stop passing the buck, declare a state of emergency, and get the National Guard out to help Virginians in need with a focus on Central Virginia. Look, I analyzed and discussed, conversating about this yesterday. If this storm had happened in January of 2021, instead of January of 2022, Ralph would have declared a state of emergency right away. The unfortunate aspect of this storm, despite the down power lines, despite the lack of power, did you know today I showered with water from a boiling pot from our gas stove? My wonderful wife put a pot of water on our gas stove. She took the long lighter, the lighter that has some length. She lit the gas stove. She let the pot of water boil. She told our 3.5-year-old son, hot water, turning the corner. Please stay away from me now. I need to bring this hot water into the bathroom so Dad can bathe to get to work. She brings the pot of boiling water into the bathroom. She puts one of those pads down that keeps things from burning on counters, one of those rubber burning pads down, not on the granite, not on the table where we eat, but on the counter in our bathroom. I take my clothes off. I dip a towel into the boiling pot of hot water. I let it cool. I let it simmer for a little bit of time. I soak my face. I wipe my body. I get my hair wet. And that was my shower for the 3rd day in a row. And guess what? We're the lucky ones. We have a gas stovetop. We have 2 gas fireplaces. We're able to stay warm and heat a sliver of our house because of these fireplaces and bathe because of this gas stovetop where we can boil waters in pots. Is it inconvenient? Yes. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes. Is 4 days of doing this frustrating and aggravating? Absolutely. But we have options. We have amenities. We have hacks to circumvent collateral damage. Others not so lucky. Folks in Louise, as we learned yesterday, are stranded miles from their neighbors, on back roads that haven't been plowed, on back roads even worse, not only not plowed, but have trees blocking the road so the plows can't even get down them. Miles from their neighbors, miles from grocery stores, miles from food and water, miles from insulin, miles from oxygen tanks, no cell phones, no power, temperatures dipping at their houses into the low 40s, senior citizens and the young freezing. There was a report out of Louisa earlier this morning. A gentleman that appears to be in his late 20s. Louisa man. Looks like his name, Jacob Whaley. Got stuck in the snow with his truck. Instead of freezing in the cold earlier this week in his truck, he said, I need to get out of here. It's unsafe. He chose to walk from his truck and to try to find warmth. Left his red Durango in a ditch. The red Durango, a casualty of a foot of snow in a short period of time in an area that's unprepared for this kind of inclement weather. as he leaves his red Durango, this late 20s, strong as an ox, red-bearded country boy starts trekking through temperatures that hovered around 15 degrees with gusts of wind much chillier. All he was looking for was a house with warmth. No one has seen him since Monday. His phone is not working. The red Durango has been found. But no one has seen him. We have someone lost in Central Virginia who trekked from his stranded automobile, a red Durango, looking for warmth, who got lost outside in the snowy countryside. A microcosm, an unfortunate one, of what's transpiring in Central Virginia. Had this storm had happened last year, Ralph would have been all over this. But because he's less than 2 weeks from his replacement in the governor's mansion, he waited. He was unprepared. He openly admitted in a Tuesday press conference that he was caught off guard and blindsided by this winter weather. Dominion's working around the clock, and they need to do so because the storm is coming again. Tonight into Friday. Not as damaging as the one on Monday, but still a storm nevertheless. I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. The handling of this storm will undoubtedly be a part of the governor's lasting legacy. He's done some good things. The management of COVID, he handled it pretty well, with the benefit of hindsight. He's done some bad things. The blackface in the yearbooks certainly embody that statement. Waiting 4 days, nearly 4 days, to call the National Guard and declare a state of emergency is in the category of bad things. Let's get our director in the mix on a 2-shot. They always prepare with perspective, Judah Wickauer. State of emergency, my friend. What do you make of that?
It's about time. Apparently, I don't know. I think it's good that we've got some help coming.
Anything else?
Do you have any counterpoint? Do you have anything to add?
I'm curious of any other take you have there.
No. I think it's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing, too. I think it's a really good thing. Johnny Ornalis, hello. We get the Humvees, we get the National Guard immediately targeting the most vulnerable areas of the country. We get the Humvees, we get the National Guard with blankets, with food, with water, immediately targeting the elderly and the country and the youth in the country and the families that can't get to grocery stores. And we do this immediately before the snow hits again tonight. That's called good governing. That's called good leadership. And I'm sorry, Ralph, it happened in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs and your team up a couple of runs. but it still happened. And it's your job to lead the state and the Commonwealth. Now let's go to the next topic. And I want a take from you on this, J-Dubs. Lloyd Snook has been named mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia. Voted mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia by his peers. In a 3-2 vote, Brian Pinkston, Juan Diego Wade, Lloyd Snook, 3, Cena McGill, Michael Payne, 2. Snook got 3 votes, Payne got 2 votes. Michael Payne got a vote from himself and a vote from Cena McGill. I've said on this network for the last 2 years that Lloyd Snook should be the new mayor of Charlottesville when Nakia Walker's term is over. Lloyd Snook utilizes common sense and reasoning when making decisions. Do I agree with Mayor Snook all the time? No. Do I agree with Mayor Snook most of the time? Yes. Is Snook a man of reason and common sense? Yes. Has Snook been around the block? Yes. Of everyone on council, the person who has the most to lose with poor decision making is Councilor Snook, and that's directly correlated with his age. He's the oldest one on council. This is his last rodeo these 2 years in a leadership position in Charlottesville. I think he's going to do a hell of a job. He's a friend of the show. I'm going to ask you this question. Snook as mayor compared to Nakia Walker as mayor. You're talking 180-degree difference.
Well, we won't know that until we've had some time to watch.
On paper, it's a 180-degree difference. You go from an activist that was not concerned with leading the community in totality, Nakia Walker, that's a fair statement, right? You gotta talk, it's a talk show.
Okay.
Can't nod your head. People in Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts can't hear that.
Don't ask me if it's a fair question, if it's a fair statement.
Why? It's a talk show, that's what we do, we talk.
Okay, but you make lots of statements, and they're very rarely fair.
You don't think Nakia Walker's an activist?
She may be.
Nakia Walker's the definition of an activist. Let's put it on the feed.
That wasn't the totality of your statement, though.
I said Nakia Walker is an activist who prioritized not the population in totality, but a portion of Charlottesville's population. That is 100% accurate. I'll speak for Judah there. That is 100% accurate.
Well, then don't ask me if it's inaccurate.
What is inaccurate about that statement? I'm curious. Please tell me. This is like we should be setting the National Guard out to Louisa County thing yesterday conversation we had.
We shouldn't be doing that. My point yesterday was that we shouldn't be relying solely on the National
Multiple
Guard.
people are agreeing with me here, but go ahead. Finish your thought. Tell me why you do not think that Mayor Nakia Walker is an activist and that Mayor Nakia Walker was more prioritizing a portion of the population instead of the community in totality. I want to hear your side of this, please.
I would say it's fair to say that she was activist, but to say that she only prioritized, yes.
I said she prioritized. I didn't say only. You said that. I said she prioritized a portion of the population more than the community in totality.
Okay.
You disagree with that?
I think at times she did. I think you make grand statements. I think sometimes you're a bit inflammatory and a bit.
Scott Airworth, Jerry, she was an activist, and you're exactly right. Multiple people are saying this.
Okay. So you've got people that agree with you.
Okay.
Go on.
For the sake of conversation, you need to back up your statements with reasoning and points. That's how talk shows work. So okay. So this is Neil Williamson's point, president of the Free Enterprise Forum. Is Mayor Nakia Walker really the metric to use? What of comparing Snook to other recent mayors? That right there is a good statement.
I agree.
That right there is a good statement.
And
okay.
And that I think was my problem with you putting on the scale Nakia.
Well, you didn't say that though.
Jerry,
You didn't say that.
you
Neil Williamson said that.
I know that.
Okay.
And he said it very well.
Okay, so
That's
then you go ahead. Compare Lloyd Snook to other previous mayors. Go.
No, I'm not going to compare him because I don't know the other mayors.
Okay, I'll compare it to Mike Signer, the mayor before Nikiah Walker. See, this is what a talk show is. You got to be able to talk. The previous mayor before Nikiah Walker was Mike Signer. Is that a fair comparison, Neil Williamson, Lloyd Snook to Mike Signer? They're both lawyers. They're both white males. They're both Democrats. Is that a fair comparison, Neil? Asking respectfully there. Mike Signer compared to Lloyd Snook as mayor. You think that's a fair comparison?
I don't know enough about Signer to say, but
I know enough about him.
Okay.
I've met and chatted with him many times. Any thoughts on that?
Any thoughts on you meeting and chatting?
No, on the comparison with Signer and Snook.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here are my thoughts. You can go first if you like.
I don't have any. I've already explained that I don't know enough about Signer to make comparisons. Feel free to expound.
Okay, thank you. Here's my point. Signer was more concerned with climbing the political vertical ladder. We know Mike Signer has previously run for Commonwealth-wide offices, excuse me. The former mayor of Charlottesville ran at one time, and someone correct me if I'm wrong here, and I'm doing a quick Google search on this, for lieutenant governor. See if we can find that. Mike Signer, lieutenant governor. I'm 99% positive he formerly ran for lieutenant governor. Can you give me some insight on that as I'm doing this on the fly, Neil Williamson? Mike was more concerned with climbing the vertical political ladder. That's why we saw Mike try to utilize August 12, 2017 in the way that he did. Mike Signer got front and center on August 12, 2017. He mishandled arguably the worst day in Charlottesville, Virginia history by making it political theater for personal gain as opposed to staying behind the scenes and allowing proper leadership to dictate the pace and tempo of the ugliest day in Charlottesville history. Snook is not focused or concerned with climbing the political vertical ladder, frankly, because of age, and frankly, because where he is at from a family and professional standpoint. Neil Williamson wants a comparison with Lloyd Snook and Dave Norris. You know Dave Norris.
I know the current Dave Norris. I don't know much about his tenure as a mayor.
Okay. In 2009, Signer was a candidate for the Democratic nomination for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, receiving 21% of the vote. Thank you, Neil Williamson. I thought that was the case. How about Lloyd Snook? You know Lloyd Snook. He's been in here on this show, on this network, I'd say more than 20 times. I'd say Dave Norris has been on this show and on this network equally as much. How about a Dave Norris, Lloyd Snook comparison from what you have seen? John Kelly, you're 100% right. I will 100% let you to make his point on this. Lloyd Snook and Dave Norris, Charlottesville mayor.
I think you're right that Lloyd Snook will take things from a very logical perspective. As a lawyer, I think I would guess that he's the type of person that looks at a lot of different angles, a lot of different information, and can put that information together into a working theory of what he would like to push forward. I see him being logical. I see him listening to all sides. I think he's going to do. I would like to think he will do a good job in the seat as mayor. I don't see Dave Norris being much different. I mean, he's an intelligent guy. He seems well considered. I don't think I've ever heard him make rash or premature statements. And you're right. I don't think that Snook is looking to climb the political ladder, and Dave seems perfectly happy to stay in Charlottesville and follow the projects that he is passionate about.
Well said. Here's where I'm going to say, here's where I see some differences. Snook, yesterday on the dais, said his primary focus is stabilizing the organization by filling open positions with the primary focus of city manager. City manager, now a hodgepodge of leadership led by a firm not associated with Charlottesville, Virginia. A mercenary, gun-for-hire city manager is what we have now. An outsourced firm paid hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars because no one else in America that is qualified wanted to take this gig. So his primary focus is to fill the city manager position, Lloyd Snook. Councilor Snook, now Mayor Snook, has much more of an uphill 2-year term of mayor than when Dave Norris was in office. Councilor Snook, now Mayor Snook, is going to have to lead the charge post Nakiah Walker's 4 years as mayor. Hopefully post-COVID, knock on wood. Post as the world turns, open positions in City Hall. Post taking down of Civil War monuments. Post education in the community, going in-person to hybrid to virtual to hybrid to in-person in whatever state we are now. The state of Charlottesville today, Councilor Snook, and I'm curious of your take, Mayor Snook, I should say, is a hell of a lot more challenging than the state of Charlottesville when Dave Norris was mayor. Furthermore, Dave Norris prioritized housing in his term more than Snook will prioritize housing in his respective term. Lloyd's term is going to be about picking up the pieces, assessing the collateral damage, and trying to fix the broken city that we have now. That not so much the case when Dave was the mayor. Thoughts, J-Dubs? John Kelly, you're right.
What, in your opinion, is broken in the city that he'll be trying to fix, aside from not having a city manager?
We have a police department that's in utter shambles. We don't have a police chief at the head of the police department. We have vacant positions in City Hall, more so than we've ever had before. We don't have a city manager. We're full-fledged in COVID yet again. Omicron and COVID are at the highest numbers ever in the pandemic. In the 2 years of this BS, we're at the worst from a statistical standpoint that it's ever been. We have a housing crisis of epic proportions. The cost of living in this town has never been higher. COVID has magnified housing inequality more so than any other time in CVille, perhaps since Vinegar Hill's raising. You got to be wealthy to live here. You bought your house at a great time. Great time, fortunate. You bought your house at a great time. Buying a house right now ain't the same playing field as when you bought your house. You give me that?
I completely agree. Not that me buying my house really had anything to do with the housing market.
It's an example.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying it didn't have anything to do with the housing market because I bought it directly from what was formerly my landlord.
Yeah, but if your landlord was your landlord today, as opposed to when you bought it, he would not have done the deal that you got when you got it.
Fair enough.
That's 100% fact. Unless he's an idiot and a moron, which I don't think he was, because I saw how that deal was structured. I think what he has to do as mayor of Charlottesville today is considerably more difficult than what Dave Norris had to do when he was mayor of CVille. I think Norris was a tad more leaning toward the socialistic side of Democrat, where Snook is a tad more leaning toward the centrist side of Democrat.
See that?
You just saw Mayor Snook walk by the studio. Now, that being said, of the 5 people that are on council, Michael Payne, Cena McGill, Juan Diego Wade, Brian Pinkston, and Lloyd Snook, the one I think most skillfully and capably prepared to lead Charlottesville out of a housing crisis, out of a COVID crisis, out of what some may see as a racial rite of passage, Charlottesville has an identity crisis. An identity crisis. And a lot of that identity crisis that we're in right now is because of the previous mayor. The person on the dais most prepared to lead the charge is Snook. He got a 3-2 vote in his favor. Juan Wade's the vice mayor. He swept 5-0. Everyone on the dais voted Juan Diego Wade vice mayor. You're going to hear it here first. When Snook's 2-year term is up as mayor, his 2-year term up as mayor will be at the end of 2023. Juan Diego Wade will be the mayor of Charlottesville in 2024. You heard it here first. Mark it down. Juan Diego Wade will be the mayor of Charlottesville in 2024. First city council meeting of 2024, he will be voted mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia. What do you think? Of the options that you have there would be Pinkston and Wade. Of Pinkston and Wade in 2024, who do you think would be most likely to be mayor? You've met both. They've come on the show at least 10 times each.
I'd put my money on Wade.
I put my money on Wade too. There'll be 3 spots open for council up for election in early November 2023. Early November 2023, 3 new spots and 3 new potential people on council. I do not see Councilor Snook running for another 4-year term. I associate that with age. Cena McGill is absolutely burned out. There's no way in hell Cena McGill is going to run for another 4-year term. Not a chance in HE double hockey sticks. Michael Payne, perhaps. You think Payne runs for another 4-year term? Or do you think this first term is exhausted and aggravated and demoralized and depressed and disturbed him so much that he's absolutely disgusted?
I haven't seen him in a while, but the last time I did, he seemed a bit beat up.
He was downtrodden.
Yeah. But with the current changes, I could see him throwing his hat in for another term.
I could see that possibly as well. Do you think they're demoralized, downtrodden, depressed, disgusted because of the dynamics of previous council?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, aside from some of the other things they've had to deal with, yeah, I would say that the makeup of council was.
They hated each other.
And even aside from personal feelings, I would just think that the backbiting, the wondering what somebody's saying behind the scenes.
Yeah.
When you're not
always on guard.
Yeah, I mean, council makes votes, and they're not expected to all vote exactly the same, but they're supposed to work together. I mean, that's what this isn't Congress. Political infighting is not the
local government.
Yeah,
they live in the same damn town.
Yeah,
they see each other at church and the grocery store. They walk down the downtown mall and see each other.
Yeah.
How could they be calling somebody some of the names that they would be called and then walk to Mud House and go to Shenandoah Joe's and get a cup of Joe?
Yeah, I think there was a disconnect in some areas. And
what do you think that conversation was like at Dave Fafara Shenandoah Joe? Just coincidentally and randomly, ex-Mayor Walker and current Mayor Snook happened to be in the line together, happenstance, ordering some Java. Do you think they talk? Ignore each other? Just say, hey, hello? Make the order and leave? Weather talk? It's snowing outside, Lloyd. No, it would be like Lloyd saying to Nikaya, it's snowing outside, Nikaya. Nikaya saying to Lloyd, yes, the snow is white.
That's a little harsh. But,
you're smirking. You found some humor in that.
It's funny, but
you found some humor. I find it hilarious.
I know a lot of jokes from my childhood that are way too off color to be repeating here.
That one wasn't off color. The snow is white. That one was, and white is not off color. The snow is white. Let's go to Star City. Let's go to Roanoke. You thought that. I can see you thought that was funny.
It was funny, but that doesn't mean it was in good taste.
I do a lot of things that are not in good taste, and you know that. This is a good piece of news here. And then we're going to get to restaurants closing in Charlottesville. Bono's on the Corner is closed right now, not due to Omicron, but because of staffing issues. There's 11 Virginia men's basketball players, 11 Wahoos, 11 Tony Bennett proteges that are currently playing in the National Basketball Association, and I will rattle off those 11 names. But how about a piece of news? Scott thought that was funny. He's watching in Virginia Beach. Scott Aaronworth. I love you, Scott Aaronworth. He's the Esquire. This is a good one. We both like craft beer. You love craft beer, right?
Generally speaking.
What's your favorite craft brewery?
My favorite craft brewery. You gotta give me a second to think about that. I like. I'd have to look them up. It's the something collective.
We talked prior in the pre-production meeting about the need for quick takes and less long-windedness. Did we not talk about that?
That was a quick take.
What? That was a quick take. All right, you look it up. My favorite one is. You found it?
Yep.
What is it?
Collective Arts.
Collective Arts? Where's that one from? Hearts or Arts?
Arts.
No H.
Let's see.
Collective Arts. I'll try that out. You've never led me astray when it comes to a cold beer.
I mean, I don't think you like Gozas. So
they only Gozas?
I think they've got more than that.
I'm not a huge Goza fan. I'm an IPA guy.
I'm looking them up.
IPA and stouts.
I don't know a lot about these guys.
All right, you look it up. I'll relay the news out of Star City, okay? I'll relay the news out of Star City. Okay, so I'll set the stage first. Albemarle County, Virginia. And this was the first time I ever spoke before a Board of Supervisors meeting. Albemarle County, Virginia, in 2016, was actively pursuing Deschutes Brewery in an economic development coup. Deschutes Brewery wanted to build a nearly $100 million brewing facility. In fact, Neil Williamson, I saw this on your Facebook page yesterday. I found it intriguing after you shared it on your Facebook page. Neil Williamson's the president of the Free Enterprise Forum. And then I said that would make a great talking point for today's talk show, and here it is. You, the viewer and listener, often can change or dictate the pace and tempo of this show by sending content to us that often gets integrated in the show. Scott Aaronworth does it all the time. Deschutes in 2016 was being pursued by Albemarle County's Office of Economic Development for its East Coast headquarters on 29 South, kind of where the Virginia Eagle distributing, right next to the Virginia Eagle distributing center, headquarters, facility. Scott Warner, who's one of the key members of Virginia Eagle, owned or had a stake in a piece of land next to the Virginia Eagle headquarters. And they were actively romancing, seducing, luring, convincing, wining and dining, persuading, charming Deschutes to bring an East Coast facility, this is an Oregon brewery, to Albemarle County. And they position the outdoor nature of Albemarle County, the mountain biking and the hiking trails, the river and the water and the mountains, and the fact that people love to support local and love to drink beer, and the fact that people like to be outside as indicators or KPI, key performance indicators, of why Albemarle was a good fit for Deschutes, because all those KPIs are embodied by the Deschutes brand. It's a very outdoorsy brand, mountainy outdoorsy brand. It's from Bend, Oregon. Can you check Deschutes? I think Deschutes is from Bend, Oregon. Will you check that for me, J-Dubs?
Yeah.
If you could, please, sir. Deschutes Brewery, West Coast, I think it's Bend, Oregon. Bend, Oregon, outdoorsy, Albemarle County, outdoorsy. Long story short,
It's Bend.
it's Bend, Oregon. Thank you. Memory's like a steel trap. It's like a steel trap. You'll give me that, right?
What's that?
You'll give me the memory's like a steel trap, right?
Neil gave you the memory.
My memory's like a steel trap. You'll give me that.
Occasionally. Most of the time.
Occasionally. They're always, we're yin and yang. We're yin and yang. All right. So Deschutes was asking for tax credits. They were asking for incentivizations from local government. I spoke before the Board of Supervisors in 2016. Good Lord, that was 6 years ago. About this. Might have even been in 2015. Long story short, Albemarle wasn't willing to do it. Local government did not see the value of 108 new jobs. Local government did not see the value of the tax revenue. Local government did not see the value. Oh no, it wasn't the tax incentives they needed. They needed, wasn't it, Neil, a rezoning? Neil Williamson, was it a rezoning they needed? I believe it was a rezoning of some kind they needed for that. Maybe rezoning and tax incentives. Let me know that, Sir Neil Williamson, if you could. President of the Free Enterprise Forum. Neil Williamson, you're making us better today, my friend. Long story short, it did work out for Albemarle County. The $95 million brewing facility went to Roanoke, where Deschutes purchased a 49-acre site. In 2017, they opened a tasting room. This is from the Roanoke Times. In 2017, they opened a tasting room in downtown Roanoke to familiarize the community with the Deschutes brand. They wanted to open a point of sale in downtown Roanoke, so a tasting room, so people can be like, fall in love with the brand. Have you ever had the fresh squeezed IPA, Judah?
From Deschutes?
Yeah. It's damn good.
Probably been at least 3 or 4 years since I've had it.
It's tremendous.
It was good, I remember.
It's a tremendous IPA. If you want a good IPA, the Deschutes Fresh Squeeze IPA. So Deschutes opens this tasting room in downtown Roanoke. They're like, try our beers at this small tasting room. Tasting rooms are as much about driving revenue as they are brand and marketing vehicles. Because you fall in love with the beer at the tasting room, and when you fall in love with the beer at the tasting room, you're much more likely to buy the 6-pack or the case on the grocery store shelf. So they opened the tasting room in downtown Roanoke in 2017 with the plan of doing a $95 million brewing facility construction on the 49-acre site they purchased in Roanoke. Guess what happened?
They didn't get the go-ahead.
No, what happened was this. They needed rezoning. Thank you, Neil Williamson. There's a link on my Facebook page in the comments to the Free Enterprise Forum. Hashtag Content Slinger. He's one of the best in the business. I'd give you a flying chest bump if you were here, Neil Williamson. This is what happened. They never opened the headquarters because from 2016 to 2017, the category of craft beer, J-Dubs, got so much more freaking saturated. We had a almost manifest destiny sprint in craft beer. Just like the gold rush and just like the Duttons got in their horse-drawn carriages and went west and ended up Montana for their stake of dirt in America that is now the Yellowstone Ranch. Brewers went from making beer in their bathtubs and their basements to opening up breweries all over town. Take Charlottesville, for example. Think of the new breweries that have opened up. Rockfish. Scuttlebutt around town is Rockfish is about to be in the downtown mall in the old downtown grill location.
Interesting. I thought that...
Wilson Ritchie bought it, subdividing it, putting Bebedero in part of it, Rockfish in the other.
I was thinking that was quite a large
Pretty massive
space
spot for the Bebedero. Yeah, quite a large spot for the Bebedero. That's a lot of tortillas, Chico, for the Bebedero. Scuttlebutt around town is Rockfish, downtown grill location. Think about all the breweries that have opened. Let's try to go back and forth. Let's go staccato fashion, naming the breweries that have opened in the last 5 years in Charlottesville.
I don't know.
Rockfish.
Selvage.
Selvage is one. Reason just merged with Champion, right?
Yeah.
What else we got?
Let's see. Decipher.
Decipher. There you go. Props to Judah. What else you got? Taylor Smack bought South Street. The Blue Mountain guy purchased the South Street location. Random Row. Random Row on Preston. So what happened? You had this manifest destiny surge, like the gold rush, like the land rush, with people sprinting to California and the West Coast to claim their piece of dirt. The same damn thing was happening in suds, in barley.
And then COVID.
And hops. You know what happens when you have too much competition in the space? The slice of the pie gets too thin. It's not sustainable. It's unsustainable. You get too much competition in the space, you know what happens with a loyal local marketplace like Charlottesville? Like Star City and Roanoke? They want to associate their dollars, their spending power with local brands and not West Coast chains that opened up East Coast headquarters.
Fair enough.
Charlottesville and Roanoke residents want to support the Rockfishes, the Three Notches, the Champions, and not necessarily the Deschutes or the Sierra Nevadas. Then COVID hit. So you had this catalyst, this collision of the proverbial you-know-what hitting the fan. Too much competition in the space, COVID, and locals choosing to support other local breweries as opposed to big brands opening up East Coast headquarters. And just like that, the Deschutes East Coast head. I find that funny. I know you don't think that's funny. Just like that, the East Coast headquarters goes away. It disappears. It disappears like Kaiser Soze.
I don't know if that's the image that I get of a
Deschutes going on.
brewery leaving Charlottesville.
Kaiser Soze from what movie?
The Usual Suspects.
My boy. Yes, bingo. I'll give you props for that. Kaiser Soze. That's one of the best movies ever, right? Usual Suspects?
That is a great movie.
That is a damn good movie. That's in my top 5. What are your 5 favorite movies?
I don't know if I could put numbers on 5. The number 1 is The Fall.
The Fall's your number 1. Okay, go. What's 2?
I think, let's see, Stardust is probably up there. I'd have to give the others some thought. I don't usually do best of. There are things that I enjoy, and I might enjoy one movie at a particular time in my life and not really care about it for a few years, and then go back to it and go, man, you know?
That's why this show is great. My top 5 is clear cut, and it's been unchanged for so long.
I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised by that. I have it in order from number 1 to number 5. You ready for me to rattle it off?
Go ahead.
Number 1 is Rudy. About the 5'8", 100 and nothing Notre Dame walk-on that ends up getting a sack in his last game played. Love Rudy. Rudy Rudiger. Number 2, what do you think it is? Goodfellas. My favorite mafia movie. I'm a huge mob guy. My favorite mafia movie of all time, Goodfellas. What?
I think I'd have guessed that was in there.
Number 3. What's your guess for number 3 then?
You know, I really don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Jenny was so mean to Forrest. Why was Jenny so mean to Forrest? Forrest wanted nothing more but to love Jenny.
Do you know women?
I'm married to one. 3's Forrest. 4 is Heat. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Val Kilmer.
Is that a Michael Mann movie?
I believe it is. It's a mob movie.
I don't really like mob movies, but I do like Michael Mann movies.
That one's excellent. What do you think is in the 5 slot? I'm going to call it the Die Hard trilogy in the 5 slot and take the easy road out. The Die Hard.
Trilogy?
Is it 4 or 3?
There's like 5 or 6 now.
No. How many Die Hards are there?
Now it's like a.
Is it the ones with Bruce Willis though?
I don't think there's.
I think there might be 4.
At least 4.
There's one where he's kind of playing. There's Die Hard 1988, Christmas Vacation, Nakatomi Plaza, Nakatomi Towers. There's Die Hard 2 in the airport, 1990.
Die Hard movies are.
I'm looking at it too. There's Die Hard with a Vengeance, 1995. There's Live Free or Die Hard, 2007.
Did I not say 5 or 6?
A Good Day to Die Hard. You did say 5. There's 5. Oh no, there's 6. And then there's one called McLean.
That must be coming because it doesn't have a date on it.
Oh, it must be coming.
McLean.
McLean.
Damn you, McLean.
McLean. My favorite one was the one in New York with Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson stole the show. Okay, that's my 5. All right, next topic I want to hit, and these 2 quickly because we're going to take a deep dive, about 10-minute deep dive on the Metaverse and how Field of Dreams is damn good. Jenny was on drugs, Scott Aaronworth said. Jenny was on drugs. Jenny was so mean to him, Scott. Why didn't Jenny just love Forrest? Christelle says, Christelle, the catering director of C&O, love you, Christelle. Are you watching at Lake Monticello? At your compound at Lake Monticello, Christelle, or are you watching at C&O? She says, guys, you want a good IPA, you have to try Treehouse, but you have to travel to get it. It's in Charleston, Massachusetts. Is it Charleston or Carlton? Charlton, Massachusetts, Carlton, Massachusetts. And Field of Dreams is one of Neil Williams' favorite. We're going to take a deep dive on how the Metaverse is going to impact Charlottesville, Virginia. How the Metaverse is going to impact Charlottesville, Virginia. What do you say? You don't want to take a deep dive? Before we get to the deep...
I just don't know that it's going to make a noticeable dent on anything Charlottesville.
I think it's going to make a very noticeable dent.
There's no connection between them.
It's the I Love CVille show. That is the connection. The connection is to take topics and to localize, personalize, and humanize them with a Charlottesville lens. That's the I Love CVille show.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
I mean, that's the show. That's what we do. Quickly, staffing or COVID, what's having more of a negative impact on restaurants right now? Bodo's on the corner closed.
I would say staffing.
I mean, good night, right?
But that you have to say that that's because of COVID. I mean, it may not be because of COVID right this instant.
Touche. Well said.
But we wouldn't be in this staffing situation if it weren't for the last year and a half plus of COVID BS.
Christelle's watching at her compound at the Lake Monticello. Well said. Bodo's on the corner closed today. The sign on the door indicated the closure not because of COVID, but because of staffing issues. Where did the work ethic go?
You can't just say that as a broad spectrum, like, this is the problem with everything.
11 Wahoos in the NBA, and then we get to the Metaverse. Here are the 11 Wahoos in the association. I found this fascinating. I know college basketball is not your cup of tea, so I'll rattle these off quickly. the 11 Wahoos in the association, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Braxton Key for the Philadelphia 76ers. Justin Anderson with the Indiana Pacers. Kyle Guy with the Miami Heat. Jay Huff with the LA Tinseltown Lakers. Sam Hauser with the Boston Seas. Trey Murphy with the New Orleans Pelicans. Anthony Gill with the Washington Bullets, now the Washington Wizards. Ty Jerome with the OKC Thunder. Dre Hunter with the Atlanta Hawks, Malcolm Brogdon with the Indiana Pacers, and Joe Harris with the Nets. All Tony Bennett proteges, 11 Wahoos in the National Basketball Association. Braxton Key Sixers, Justin Anderson Pacers, Kyle Guy Heat, Jay Huff Lakers, Sam Hauser Celtics, Trey Murphy Pelicans, Anthony Gill Wizards, Ty Jerome Thunder, Dre Hunter Hawks, Malcolm Brogdon Pacers, Joe Harris Nets. Wow. Tony Bennett. Wow, wow, wow. I'm going to say this once. I was watching Virginia beat up Syracuse in the Carrier Dome, and Jim Boeheim's signature and name was in cursive right at center court. It is time for Carla. It is time for the Virginia Athletic Foundation. It is time for Barry Parkhill. It's time for wealthy alumni to encourage, insist, and demand that Tony Bennett's signature is also on the court at the John Paul Jones Arena. 400,000 people quit their jobs in November in America. 400,000 people quit their jobs in America in November. What are they doing?
They're wanting to...
Collecting unemployment?
Possibly. I think some people are living with friends or family. I think people are...
They're couch surfing?
Possibly. Or just looking to find a new way to do things.
Is the American dream today couch surfing, unemployment checks, handouts, and $7 double cheeseburgers from McDonald's?
No.
I just find it bananas. Those 400,000 people...
The problem is that you're an employer.
Those 400,000 people are going to have a cruel awakening. And their cruel awakening is they're going to realize they made the biggest mistake of their life, and the wealth gap between them and everybody else in America has widened even more. And that decision making is undoubtedly why we have a class system. Why there's an upper class, upper middle class, a lower middle class, and a lower class, and destitute. Quit your job. 400,000 people quitting their job is absurd to me.
Says the guy who quit his job.
I quit my job 13 years ago in a much different scenario. And that was almost 14 years ago in May.
So you're saying that because it's a different time and a different place that they should all stay in their jobs?
And I will also stipulate this. When I quit my job 14 years ago in May, I was still doing part-time work in media. I launched the company that is now VMV Brands, the brand that's behind us, Charlottesville's best advertising agency, 14 years ago out of a condo that's now a rental property. But when I did that, I hedged by doing this. I had a 3-bedroom condo. I took 2 of those bedrooms and I welcomed my 2 friends in there to live in the spare bedrooms. I offered them rent of $400 each a month, $800 total, that essentially covered the mortgage. That took down a significant portion of my overhead. I was still at the same time freelance writing for media publications across the Mid-Atlantic. That, my friend, is called a hedge.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
These 400,000 people are quitting and apparently couch surfing, going to the unemployment line and the soup kitchen.
Okay. Sure.
What are you saying?
I'm saying you're making a grand overarching statement about all these people, and I think that's the problem with your argument, is that you're not taking it, you ask me a question and then you don't take my answer seriously.
I do take your answer seriously. I'm asking what's your answer?
I said I'm sure there are some people that are staying with friends or with family. I'm sure that there are some people who are going to live in cars. But
I'm listening.
But you're scoffing and you're laughing, but the problem is that there is a large swath of America that is extremely unhappy with how things are right now.
And how are things in America?
Whether it's too many hours, whether it's poor pay.
Too many hours?
See, this is not like a one-size-fits-all.
Okay, keep going.
reason.
Keep going. Too many hours, poor pay. I'm listening. Keep
I'm
going.
saying there are a lot of different reasons, but if you're sitting back here scoffing and saying that they're all stupid for quitting, then you clearly are not.
I never said they were stupid for quitting. I said they can't see the forest through the trees, and they're going to wake up one day realizing that the wealth gap in their life has widened significantly. I didn't say they were stupid.
What you may not understand then is that for many of them, I'm sure that wealth gap was already widening.
But if you quit your job, isn't the wealth gap going to widen more?
So you're saying that they should just stay working shitty jobs, making shitty money, with the wealth gap continuing to push them further down, and just keep doing that because they need to make money? I mean, you're not necessarily wrong, but I don't think you're right either.
Okay, so how are they going to pay their bills?
That's why they're going to live with other people. That's why some of them are selling houses and going to live in their cars. I'm not saying they're good decisions. I'm just saying that people are not happy with America today. And what some people see as the American dream is perhaps a sham, perhaps a...
Which portion? Just curious.
Perhaps a painted whore. Is that the right word? Which the part where somebody says all you have to do is work hard and you'll achieve your dreams, and people are working hard and they're making less and less money. I mean, take a look at some of the memes out there. Look at our parents when you could buy a house for $60,000, and a husband working as the only breadwinner in the household could not only buy a house, but afford to take care of his family, to take them on vacations, to buy things, and the wife could stay home and take care of the kids. Now, whether or not you believe that's, I'm not saying that wives should stay home, and I'm not saying that husbands should.
Well, that's the dynamic in my family.
It doesn't matter. That's completely beside the point. My point is, we don't live in those times anymore today. How much have housing gone up in the last year or two?
I would say the average house in Charlottesville is about between $250 and $300.
And how much has it gone up?
Considerably. COVID's had a considerable impact in Charlottesville and across America.
And
we're going to have to save the metaverse for tomorrow.
And now we're talking about, and now we've got families.
Let's go down this road.
Families who are both working, who can't afford a house. That's what I'm saying. The differences between 1950, 1960, and now are great. They're vast, and they're growing. But we still like to think that we're in the same place, and that somebody can just work hard and make money and buy a house and save money.
That's exactly what you did. That's exactly what you did. Do you remember, and we're not going to go down that road, but do you remember when we met?
You
worked hard. You saved money.
I did not save that much money.
You own a house.
Yes.
How many people in Charlottesville do you think own a house? Are you in the city or Albemarle County?
But Jerry,
are you in the city or in Albemarle County? Hold on one second.
I'm in Albemarle.
Okay. What percentage of Albemarle County do you think owns a home?
No idea.
I would bet, and I don't have this statistic in front of me, I would bet more than 50% of Albemarle County does not own a home.
Okay, I'm not sure what that has to do with.
But I'm just saying, look at, just take the two of us. Take the two of us. We have a conference call, as you know, at 1:45. So we're going to have to save the metaverse for tomorrow. Tomorrow's topic is going to be how the metaverse will impact Charlottesville and Central Virginia. And I have some very compelling takes on this. Very compelling takes. I'm going to localize a global topic, and we were going to do it today, but we're going to do it tomorrow now. We work hard here, do we not?
I never said we didn't.
Right?
But that has nothing to do with me.
Let me finish my take, and I'll let you finish your take, okay?
When has that ever happened?
It's happened throughout this entire show. People are identifying that it's happening. Literally. I mean, I can show you the comments that people are leaving here. They're texting them to me. You want to? Here.
Okay.
This is from a guy in Virginia Beach. Read that comment there. See? This is Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Okay? So we have a conference call in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay? 2.5 minutes. I'm going to give 45 seconds. You give 45 seconds and we'll close. You work hard. You've worked at this company for 10 years. When is 10-year anniversary?
I believe June.
Is it 10 in June or is it 11 in June? I thought it was 11 in June.
I think it's 10 in June.
Okay, we should look that up. I think it's 11. You might be right. We'll call it 10.
2012.
Okay, we'll call it, all right, 10 years in June you've worked here. You work hard.
I've never disputed that.
I know. You work hard. Every year you've gotten a raise. Every year your raise has been higher than cost of living. Every year that you've worked at this business, you've gotten more money, more perks for the same effort or output. More money, more perks, same effort or output. Today, you are a homeowner and drive a relatively new car. Now, the car's had a little fender benders. That's you, not the car, right? You are considerably ahead of the majority of Albemarle County. Me as an employer, owner of the business, and I'm going to get out of your way here, I put my life savings on the line 14 years ago, risked everything I had, almost defaulted on my condo to the point where I had to welcome friends in to rent rooms from me because I was going to lose the condo. Watched my life savings dwindle to nothing. Until this day, even today, even this week, I work 7 days a week in this business. I work hard. I have a house, some real estate investment. I'm proud of it. And that still, from my standpoint, is the American effing dream. You work, you save, you earn, you get. Your show.
It's 1:45.
Offer some perspective. We'll be a little late.
Okay. What works for Jerry does not work for everyone else. And working hard does not always get you a house. I didn't save enough money to buy a house.
How'd you buy the house?
There were other means. I don't think this is the
Okay, yeah, we don't have to go personal on
place
that.
for it.
Okay,
But
fair.
me working hard did not get me that house.
What? You're able to.
What? I inherited money. I did not.
Oh, we don't have to get personal. I don't want to get personal.
In 10 years, I have not been able to save.
We don't
enough
have to get
money.
personal. We don't have to get personal.
I'm
You pay your mortgage payment, right?
I do.
Okay. You pay for your house by working hard.
Okay.
You work hard and you get to pay for the roof that you own. All right, you're right. It's 1:46 here. God, why the conference? The time flies, does it not? I want to acknowledge this, and everybody that's watching. This man is doing a hell of a job. A hell of a job. This is a brand new aspect of the show. You're doing a hell of a job.
Thank you.
I really respect and appreciate the yin and yang perspective, the back and forth.
It's got its moments.
Hell of a job. All right, wrap her up. That's the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us, guys. My name is Jerry Miller.